It doesn't matter whether you're looking to hire a computer professional, an auto mechanic, or someone to replace your garage door. There are some things you should always try to avoid saying when you talk to that service person in order to put some of your valuable money back in your pocket. Hey, thanks, babe. Now I can buy you stuff.
Yay!
Let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, I need to put this disclaimer out here because this is very important. Not every business out there is shady. Most people who run a small business are reputable, good people who are going to be honest and take care of their customers because their reputation is everything. I've been in this business a long time and I've seen people from all ends of the spectrum, and the vast majority of people that I've met are just good people who want to make a living and build a business. That being said, you still need to do your homework. The best way to go about finding somebody, whatever industry it is to ask people that you trust. Call your friends, ask on Facebook, find a local neighborhood group on social media, and ask who would you use for this particular thing. And when you start to see the same name pop up over and over and over again, that's generally going to be the person you want to go to. But that being said, there are still some things that you never want to say when you call to find out about time and money.
It just started acting up. I wasn't doing anything.
Now this would make sense. A lot of people don't realize what's going on with their computer when something happens, and that's because they don't know their computer that well. That's why they're calling you in this case. But you should at least be able to provide some kind of information to the service person about what you were doing when the problem happened. Part of what we do, whether it's computer repair or plumbing, is to try to evaluate the situation and figure out what it could be and just eliminate anything it couldn't be. If you can't tell us anything other than, I don't know, it's just broke, well, what that's going to do is that's going to turn into a bigger expense for you, because now what's going to happen is instead of focusing on one little thing that you helped narrow the problem down to, now we have to look at all the possible solutions, which is going to cost you more money in the long term. So do the best you can to provide as accurate a description of the problem and what you were doing when it happened, and that's going to save you a little bit of money in the troubleshooting.
Take your time. There's no hurry.
Now this one I have mixed feelings about. On the one hand, I do appreciate when a customer tells me that there is no major hurry for them to get the computer back, which means that I can take my time. But what tends to happen is, especially in a computer shop where there are a handful of computers being worked on, when you say take your time, I'm not in a hurry, that means your computer is going to go to the bottom of the stack, and instead of maybe a couple days to get it back, now you're talking potentially a week or longer. And so what you want to do is explain that it's not critical that you get it back immediately, but you also don't want to wait a long time. And there's absolutely no problem with setting those time boundaries with the person that you talk to, and just tell them, look, I need a realistic idea of what my turnaround time is going to be, because if you just act like you really don't care, then the computer person is likely to say, well, I'll just fix it when I fix it. And that just turns a 2 or 3 day turnaround into a 2 or 3 week turnaround. And though you can probably be fine with 2 or 3 weeks, there's no reason it should ever take that long.
I live on the Upper East Side.
One of the biggest mistakes you could ever make when you call someone about a support job, regardless of what it is to let them know what area of town you live in. Now, we all make different levels of income, and some people have much more means than others. But when you talk to somebody that you don't know about a problem you're having, and you lead with the fact that maybe you live in a more affluent part of town, or that you live in a gated community, or that you live on the lake, or that you live in this particular neighborhood or in this particular street, the service person on the other end hears dollar signs. Simply put, don't ever tell anybody that you call for service where you live until you have already negotiated or at least discussed the possible prices, because I guarantee you, if they find out you live in a $500,000 neighborhood, I guarantee you you're going to pay more than you would if you lived on a different side of town. And that person might just jack up the rate just because they know you can pay it and you won't even blink.
It is absolutely critical that I get this fixed as soon as possible.
Now, this one comes with some caveats. Now, obviously, there are situations where the repair is actually a critical thing, and the person who's calling, you in this case, understand that there is a premium that you pay for faster, more efficient service. But when you call and you make it sound like your computer or your situation is the most important thing, yeah, they will absolutely put you at the top of the list, but you're going to get charged for that. Now, the other thing too is that a lot of times people don't find out that there is a premium fee until you get that device back or you get the job done. Then you look at your bill and you say, well, why is it $200 extra dollars or $400 extra dollars or whatever? And then they will look at you and go, you said this was absolutely critical. I put you on emergency premium rush service and there is a fee for that. So there's nothing wrong with letting people know that this is important to you. But just remember that anytime you are asking a service person to do a job for you, always find out ahead of time, is there a fee involved with that? Do I pay extra? Can I pay extra? Some people don't mind paying an extra $100 for you to put their device at the top of your list and have it back to them tomorrow. To them, that $100 is no big deal. For some people, that $100 could be the difference of whether they pay their rent or not. So when you're calling for support, feel free to tell them how important it is, but also make sure you know ahead of time what you're looking at cost-wise, because if you just blurt out that this is the most important thing ever, you might end up with a big bill that you can't afford. Now, here's a little secret that a lot of people don't realize. What you think might take a week to fix actually is only a 48-hour job. So if you insist on paying the premium fee to get it back in 48 hours, you're actually overpaying for something you would have got back in that same amount of time. So in addition to finding out prices, also find out about expected turnaround times. Any reputable person, based on the questions they ask you and what you tell them is wrong, is going to be able to give you a rough ballpark amount on what it's going to cost to fix, and generally going to tell you, here's about how long it's going to take. Once you have that information, now you have the time, now you know the dollars, now you can decide if it's worth getting it back sooner. Always ask those two questions.
I don't care what it costs. Just fix it.
Man, this one is my favorite. Now, the reason it's my favorite is because I actually have clients that say this to me, and I stop them immediately, and I'm like, no, don't ever say that to a computer guy, because what will happen when you tell him, I don't care what it costs, just fix it, you're going to end up paying almost the price of a new machine to fix an old one. The reality is you are speaking from a place of emotion. You need it fixed right now. It's super critical. You have stuff you have to get done right now. And in your mind, it's, I don't care about the numbers, just put it back in my hands working as soon as possible. But you have to understand that the person you are talking to is a service person who is getting paid to do a service for you. And when you say something to the effect of, I don't care what it costs, just fix it, that means you get the highest absolute price that person is going to charge, guaranteed, almost without question. Now, if you have a relationship with a computer guy like I do with my local clients, it's different because I understand them and I know what they're saying, and I'm not going to do that to them. I'm going to charge them the same price I would even if they weren't losing their mind. But a lot of people take their computer to someone that happens to be in their local town that they maybe don't have any experience with, and they just want to convey the importance of how much they need it back, and that comes out of their mouth, and all the service person sees is $, $, $. So whatever you do, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter what your standard of living is, never ever tell someone, whether it's a computer person, a garage door repairman, lawn maintenance, whatever, don't ever say, I don't care how much it costs, just do it, because that tells us we can add whatever number we want to your bill and you'll pay it without question because you told us on the front end, I don't care what it costs.
Look, the reality is, you better get my computer fixed, or I'm going to put negative reviews all over social media, and I'm going to have your business license pulled. So you better get my computer fixed now.
Now, in every part of our life, we have had to deal with people who are, let's just say, not easy to work with. The typical Ken and Karen thing. You have to understand that some people just talk the way that they talk and they're not trying to be jerks or rude. And sometimes people actually are trying to be rude because they think they're better than you, or they think they make more money than you, or they have a better station in life. And that for some reason, just because they are paying you to do a job, that they can disrespect you. I have personally had people call me and treat me this way, and never having known me, and act like from minute one that I am somehow subservient to them. And I have respectfully declined their business because I have enough respect for myself that I know I'm providing a service to you and I know what kind of job I can do for you. But if you're going to disrespect me before you've even met me, that's only going to get worse as time goes by. So if you are in a particular mood when you talk to someone, first of all, I would never call someone for support when you are in a mood. That's probably a good idea. Have your partner call, or wait until you've calmed down. Have a shot of tequila, whatever it takes. Just remember that the person you're talking to on the other end has feelings and emotions, and that there is no time ever where it's okay to be rude or disrespectful to someone just because perhaps you have a better life situation than they do. If it helps, remember at the end of the day that whatever you're really good at, when it comes to what you're paying them to do, you are dumb as a bag of hammers. And when it comes to what they do, what you do, they would be dumb as a bag of hammers. You are trading dollars for experience and knowledge in something that you don't know. Try to do your best to always be respectful when you talk to a support person. Just understand that if you can't do that, that's fine. But I guarantee you, if you come at somebody who is a service person, regardless of what the service industry is, but if you come to them with an attitude and disrespecting them and being ugly, sure, they'll take your money. They're going to take a lot of money. Now, it's not going to end up on the bill as jerk fee, but I promise you it'll be in there. Now, if you specifically have a computer problem and you think you need a service person to take care of it, before you do that, you might want to check out this video right over here. I show you this really awesome script that you can download for free that will clean up a lot of problems on your computer, and it might save you some money in the end.